This is a video about death and awakening. Good afternoon. This is a video about death and awakening. This is Wake Up, or formerly, what is awakening? The topic of today is death. Not only because there was the question and because it is an important topic, but because everything is happening now, this whole ridiculous panic. Watch JP's video, What Happens If You Believe Everything the Media Tells You. That's very funny, I have nothing to add. But the reason for this, as many others have stated already, is our fear of death. People can easily be caught by their fear of death. Because death is a taboo right now. Death is everywhere around us now. If you look at the forest, there's a dead tree, there's a live tree. Actually, there are 2 or 3 dead trees lying around. They will become earth and will become the nutrition for the next trees. In collaboration with all the fungi, with all the mushrooms in the floor that have a symbiosis with the trees and plants. So the opposite of death is not life. The opposite of death is birth. From the moment of birth you start dying. In the beginning you're still growing, and the life force is stronger, and later the death force will be stronger. While you're in the womb, it's all life. But from the moment of birth, when you draw your first breath and scream your first scream, you start dying. That's not nice to hear, but it's true. And the sooner we just accept it, the sooner we're not running away from it and pushing it away from us and turning a blind eye on it, the better. Actually, that's the only thing you can do. Even there are exercises in Buddhism, like Tibetan Buddhism or Taoism, where you practice dying. There's nothing bad about dying. It's just you have to come to terms with the fact that our lives are finite and not infinite. And then you can try to avoid it, have all kinds of facelifts and so on to appear younger. This whole craze about looking young and not looking old, it's also a fear of death. Because we don't know what's after death. Is there heaven or hell? Or is this hell maybe? Who knows? Will there be nothing? Is there reincarnation? One of our worst fears is that we are just a drop of water that dissolves back into the ocean. That our personality, that we made such an effort to create, our story, our ego, our me, my me, I, that this will dissolve, that it was all for nothing. No one will remember us. We will never have existed. Something like this. This is a big fear, and this fear is coupled with the fear of death. We don't want to know about death because we are afraid what will happen if it's our turn. But that's just the way Maya works. If you go with the flow and accept that you're mortal, then many fears will disappear. It's of course easier said than done. But if you're interested in awakening and enlightenment, then you have to die anyway. There are 2 deaths. The death we usually talk about is the death of our body, or of our body-mind complex. And then there's the death of our personality, and that is called enlightenment. And from the point on where you realize that your personality is just a story, that it has no reality, that's awakening. And between awakening and enlightenment, this is where the ego dissolves. Everything before that is building up the ego, like spiral dynamics describes. I have to make a video about that, about spiral dynamics. because it's a very good description how these things work. And if you're happy with your ego development, it's fine. There are innumerable things to learn in this life, more than you possibly can, and it's great fun. There are so many things to do, so many things to see, so many things to experience. It's fine. It really is. There's nothing better in being awake or enlightened than in not being. It's just different. It's just that if you're awake or enlightened, you see the world for what it is, what it really is. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. And terrible and confusing and mean at the same time. Because there is no such a thing as good and evil. That's the next thing. It appears. It's our way our mind works. It has nothing to do with Maya or the nature or the world, that we think in dual terms, black and white, good and evil, high and low, and so on. These are axioms of our mind, dispositions of our mind. We cannot think another way. These are limitations of our thinking. This has nothing to do with the world. The world is not limited to 2 dimensions, not at all. Same with life and death, or birth and death. It's not really there. It's not true. It's in our imagining and in our stories that we tell each other, that we reinforce these illusions. So, as I always say, there's nothing to worry about. All is well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And see you soon with the next video. Wake up.